When we look at the trailers and images released for Silent Hill F, two main questions pop into mind. First, what are these flowers that are taking over the world and even people? And second, what narrative path is this game taking? What kind of psychological themes is it diving into this time? In this video, we'll explore both of those questions and more. I dig into the trailers, the keywords the developers have shared, and speaking as someone fascinated by Japanese culture, try to link all of it to the cultural roots behind it. And of course, I analyze things from the perspective of a game designer to build a clear and personal interpretation of what this game is trying to be. So, enjoy the rest of the video. First of all, I need to say I hyped to this for this game, and I explain why. But let's start with this. The story setting is absolutely perfect. It's full potential for a Silent Hill game. Let me break it down with a quick comparison. Think about Ghost of Tsushima. Its setting was perfect for the story it was trying to tell. When you hear samurai, words like honor immediately come to mind. And Ghost of Tsushima challenges that idea in a way that avoids ludonarrative dissonance. If you don't know what that is, ludonarrative dissonance is when a game's gameplay and story don't match. It's not necessarily bad, but it's something worth talking about, maybe in a future video. The same potential exists here in Silent Hill. As we all know, Silent Hill has always been a place, a gate really, to explore people's inner conflicts. It manifests the evil within. So, here's a question. What did this poor teenage girl do to deserve this? I don't think she had a sick boyfriend and killed him for some reason, like what happened in Silent Hill 2. No, here's where things get interesting. What kind of a struggle does a high school girl go through? What kind of pressure does she face? If you don't have an idea, I recommended watching 13 Reasons Why. There are, well, at least 13. Let me give you a broad view. Self-image issue, jealousy, insecurity, toxic relationships, and even darker things that the game does hint at, but I'd rather not to say outright. These emotions are perfect for the kind of psychological horror Silent Hill excels at. So, back to the first question. What's the deal with the flowers? What do they represent? If you've listened to the developers, they keep coming back to one phrase, some beauty amongst horror. Originally, they aimed to build something completely different. And what we've ended up with is a game focused on a very specifically emotional pillar. This is what we call a game's pillar, a word or phrase that devs use to guide every part of the experience. For example, Doom Eternal's gameplay was described as jump and fight. They even said the player was like a fighter jet. Anyway, beauty within fear is a phrase that's deeply reasonable in Japanese culture. From ancient myths to modern art, you see this theme everywhere. Fear can be captivating, beauty can be threatening. The game's artist and director have emphasized this repeatedly. Even Akira Yamaoka, the composer of the series' iconic folk themes, said this new soundtrack will feel familiar but bring something new and unexpected. The writer also stated very clearly, the player will be forced to make a choice that is both beautiful and terrifying. You can feel this theme throughout the entire game. Even first trailer was built entirely around it. Let me bring up something interesting. There's a real-life phobia called trypophobia, fear of clusters of holes. The visuals in the trailer combine this fear with beautiful floral visual. Right from the start, the game has given us clues about its core message. Back when that trailer dropped, people had all kinds of wild theories. But now, we know this game has a unique philosophy. And I honestly think that applying this philosophy to Silent Hill is genius. Imagine this, every beautiful or terrifying thing in the world, every piece of mystery, every image, all of it tied back to this emotional pillar. It's brilliant. If you agreed with what I've said so far, a like would go a long way toward helping me make more videos. Now, let's talk about the second big question. What's the story? What's this game really about? So far, we've talked about some of the emotional backdrop. Think again about a high school girl's struggles. Here's some more context. The devs mentioned that the protagonist, Shimizu, is under pressure from both her friends and her family. Also, the way the game tells its story is going to be different. The devs have emphasized that players will have a lot of meaningful choices to make, and those choices will directly affect the ending. This is huge, especially for the newer fans who joined because of Silent Hill 2 Remake. That game, like the original, has multiple endings. All of them are powerful, and each person can have a favorite, depending on their personal interpretation. But some fans rightfully complain that it's hard to know how your choices affect the ending. Sometimes it feels like you don't have any real control. Like, how will you know that interacting with this specific item this many times could affect the ending? Let's be honest, they have a point. That's how Silent Hill has always been, and the remake needed to stay true to that. But still, in today's world, with today's players, that doesn't really fly. So now, in Silent Hill F, it looks like we've been facing much clearer, tougher choices. In the old games, something had already happened. We were just dealing with the consequences, but this time, we be part of the events. We make some of them happen. One more time, remember what the writer said. The player will be forced to make a choice that is both beautiful and terrifying. It seems like the story is going to push us toward a moment where we know what the consequences are, and we still have to go through with it. Now think about this. What kind of decision, what kind of choice could be both beautiful, deeply satisfying, and absolutely terrifying at the same time? Revenge. There is a strong hint that the game's about revenge. Two moments in the trailer stand out. First, we're shown multiple characters who clearly know the protagonist. And just look at this line.
いつまでも一緒にいたい。お友達は永遠じゃないのよ。彼らだっていつか必ず。
It clearly sets the tone for what we should expect. I know, the trailer tries to frame the story in a very specific way, but Silent Hill has never really worked like that. Silent Hill 2 was never truly about James' missing wife. That was just the perspective the developers wanted us to start with. In one scene, she screamed, "You took everything from me." Who is she yelling at? One of those characters, one of the monster, and this scene.
ことを願っています。
What the fuck is that?
It echoes a similar moment from the first trailer. I feel like this is exactly what the other world wants us to remember. Maybe it's about that lingering self-discontent, that pressure to be like everyone else, or those darker thoughts we sometimes turn inward. That's exactly why I'm so hyped for this game, because it dares to explore thoughts and emotions that many of us, especially as teens, have dealt with, maybe even right now. Before we wrap up, I say this. I'm still not entirely sure if those flowers are meant to represent the other world itself or not. If you've only played the Silent Hill 2 remake, this might surprise you. In earlier games, the other world looked totally different, and it changed depending on the character. It was always personal. The devs are changing a lot of things this time, maybe even how we enter the other world. If you've got thoughts about what the other world might be in Silent Hill F, I'd love to hear them in the comments. And by the way, last week I posted a video comparing level design in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 and give my personal take. If that sounds interesting, go check it out too.